What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show. This is the Science Dispatch Podcast. I'm Cameron English. That is Dr. Chuck Dinnerstein, Director of Medicine at the American Council on Science and Health. Chuck, it's very nice to see you.
Good to see you, too. I did hear a little hesitancy in deciding on the name of the broadcast. That's because you have so many broadcasts going now.
Well, I just forgot, because my brain doesn't work. I have two Rugrats, and they sap every bit of energy
I understand. Yes.
Rational faculty that I have.
Yeah. So in your age group, it's just considered a fog. At my age, it's boomer brain, and it appears to be longer and more permanent.
Well, I don't know. Ask my wife. She's not thrilled about it. So there's that. Anyways, we're not here to discuss marriage. We're here to talk about seasickness and air sickness. And apparently there's a new drug on the horizon. I guess it remains to be seen how far this is going to get. But this is called seasick, airsick. There's a new drug for that, finally. This is by our colleague, Dr. Josh Bloom, who is our Director of Chemical and Pharmaceutical Sciences. So he writes in the summary, motion sickness has been making travelers miserable for as long as humans have been climbing aboard boats. Despite that, the medicines we rely on today have changed surprisingly little until now. But the real question is whether the new drug will let my wife snorkel without turning the same color as a moray eel. Josh's characteristic color added to the story. Nonetheless,
absolutely.
I'm curious, Dr. Dinnerstein. This seems helpful, and my guess would be there aren't a ton of drugs for this because it's not life-threatening typically, right? Going deep-sea fishing and barfing up your turkey sandwich. Probably yes. Not on the list of pressing concerns for
That's
most
true. On the other hand, the symptom is fairly common. So you would think that there would be a range of very effective treatments for it. Nausea is certainly a significant feature of cancer chemotherapy. And I think that they've made a lot of inroads in turning that horrible experience into just occasionally unpleasant one by the introduction of anti-nausea, antiemetic agents. What I found interesting, perversely, I guess, about Josh's article is that this is, again, another one of those areas that we didn't cover in medical school. Perhaps maybe we're required to do a week's worth of it under the new administration's anti-nausea, pro-health policies that will have a week on this. But
whole milk is good for that, I hear.
Yeah. I'm sorry?
Whole milk is good for that, I hear.
No, that or steak and kimchi. So what I did find, and I found this is fascinating, is that the underlying cause of seasickness or motion sickness is a mismatch between what our ears are telling us about motion and what our eyes are telling us about motion. So I thought that was an interesting problem because it's a mismatch. And what happens is that on a boat, starting with that version, your eyes see everything as relatively stationary, but your ears and balance are saying, oh, no. The boat is moving. And not only is it moving back and forth, it's moving from side to side. And it's that mismatch in signals that the brain has developed an evolutionary means of correcting. Just to complete the thought, you can have the reverse. So you can be sitting still and your ears saying, I'm not doing any moving, and your eyes are moving. For instance, in an IMAX theater. Or if you think about how they went to hyperspace in Star Wars and everything kind of moved forward very quickly. That also can cause that same disjunction. And the theory is, and this is the part I like the best, is that the only conditions under which there would be a mismatch between what you saw and what you experienced in terms of movement is whether you somehow managed to eat something and poison yourself. And your body has developed a response to that. You poisoned yourself with something to eat, let's get rid of it, throw up. And so that's the circuit. It's when you have this disjunction between what your eyes think is going on and what your ears say, or your balance says is going on. you think that you've been poisoned and you decide you have to get rid of your stomach contents and go. All the medicines then kind of fit within that parameter. The pathway to nausea and vomiting involve the histamines, muscaretics, and the drugs that Josh talked about, like Benadryl and Dramamine, are directed at treating that. And so that's pretty late in the process by the time those signals are going down the line. A more effective drug, Ondosartan or Sofran, and that's used in chemotherapy all the time because it's very good at knocking out at least chemotherapy-related nausea, acts at the point at which the signals have gotten out of the brain and are down going through the vagus nerve to tell the stomach to reverse flow. But the new drug, and it's called Tradeplant, or Neurius is its brand name, acts at the beginning of the cycle and tells the brain, no. You didn't poison yourself. You're just having a problem putting two sensations together and making it make sense. And that's why it has perhaps a better efficacy than the previous contenders. So there you have it.
It seems like it'd be really helpful. And Josh, always speaking to the common man, summarizes the existing drugs as, quote, sucky and sleepy.
Good.
Which is accurate, right? I mean, and
Yes.
he talks about drowsiness and dry mouth and blurred vision. I mean, these are unpleasant. I prefer not to have any of them while I'm driving, for example. So in other words, I'm trying to make sense of the mechanism here. He says that this drug, it basically blocks that final signal before your brain goes, all right, it's time to barf.
Yes,
It stops that connection. Is that basically what's happening?
Right. That's the central signal. But
Okay.
all the older drugs have either interrupted the messenger, the histamines and the serotonins, or they've blocked the highway with a Zofran, the vagus highway, that delivers the ultimate signal. That's why this drug acts in a different way, and therefore they think it may be much more efficacious for this particular indication, which is that disparity. And you also see that disparity in an airplane, though I've never experienced it. Though they don't call it the vomit comet for nothing when they're talking about people simulating zero G's in an aircraft. And in fact, I think NASA reports also that when astronauts are introduced to microgravity, they can have that same kind of experience. But to me, as a physician minding his own business, I just think it's a fascinating thing to learn about our neurology, that our brain recognizes the disparity, the error between the two senses, and tries to correct it, and that it corrects it in a way that is more, at least evolutionary, according to the hypothesis, in getting you to throw up.
That's fascinating. It's like the closest signal it has is this is poisonous.
Yes.
Right. So
Yes.
very blunt.
Right. And I guess, since this will be later on next week coming out, and it'll be National Roller Coaster Week,
Right.
or day, we can point to the fact that that's a similar place where you can have these kind of events, though I don't know how your eyes would just tell you that you're not moving.
Right. That's funny. It's fun until you throw up. That's basically the connection between this story and that one.
Yes.
So Josh points out that it looks like we're in phase 3 trials. This is actually pretty far along then.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
we've got almost 700 adults with history of motion sickness. In one study, 44% of participants receiving placebo vomited during the boat trip, compared with 18% of those taking the new drug. So that's a pretty significant decline. It's not nothing, in other words. There's a lot of drugs where the distinction is, I guess, clinically significant, but it's relatively small. But it's still approved because it's something. So what are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. This appears to be, a significant improvement. Though I would, for those people that don't want to spend the cash, I would point out that placebo worked about 44% of the time. So you got a shot if you just want to tough it out. But no, this looks like it's going to be the real deal. I think it's going to have a much larger niche market than Zofran has had, but it's it's going to do well. It just has to hit the streets.
It seems promising. My first question to Josh when the story came across was, is it going to be available for kids? And not yet. That's going to be a whole nother trek through the regulatory review process. But as a father of young children who has had to clean puke out of my car multiple times, I'd say that this would be a great development. I would really appreciate.
Is it? Should I be asking whether maybe we could work on the driving, or is that not the cause?
I am offended by the insinuation that you just made. No, it's not. It's not. We're cautious drivers, especially with the young ones in the car. But at least where we are, you have windy roads.
Okay.
And it's just, especially if it's an extended trip. So we've been reduced to, giving them Dramamine. Apparently we bought these bracelets. They have a little button in the center.
Yes.
It's a pressure point or something. I don't know to what extent it works, but he loves wearing them. And we're like, well, if we don't have to clean,
okay.
goldfish.
It's getting into that idea of interfering with the vagus nerve.
Okay.
And so that there's some science that suggests that there are places in the body where you can begin to influence your vagal tone. We've talked about it in other times, whereas the two key ways to control your vagus nerve is with your respiratory rate, hence the idea of slow, deep breathing being calming. It interferes that way. And rapid eye movement, which has a big role in altering vagus tone in people with PTSD. So, fun factoids for the day.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It's funny. I don't get motion sick really, but the last time I experienced it was in the cab ride from Manhattan to JFK.
No, you could not have been moving that fast. I'm sorry.
Well, getting on the Long Island Expressway, cutting people off was the fastest part, and then it was the slow, kind of like,
the stops and starts. Yes.
Yeah. That almost had me barfing. I was like, hey man, can you turn on the AC in this $100 cab ride? I'd appreciate that.
Oh my God.
In any case,
okay.
Really cool development. Hopefully we'll see it on the market soon, provided it proves safe. It seems to be efficacious so far.
Yeah.
Would this be an over-the-counter kind of a thing, or would you have to get a prescription?
I can't imagine it not being over-the-counter. That's
okay. All right, very good. Well, go check out this article if you want to learn a little more science behind seasickness. It's called Seasick, Airsick. There's a new drug for that. Finally, that's by Dr. Josh Bloom. That's at acsh.org. While you're there, click the subscribe tab. Give us your email address. We'll send you all the stuff that we publish. The stuff you read, the stuff you watch is what we talk about on this show usually. Thank you so much. And if you appreciate our work, consider giving us a donation. $5-10 helps us keep the lights on. We're very, very grateful for all of our supporters. And with that, we'll see you next time.